Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is the second of the two requests for Enrico. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, whether it be a topic, tier list, ranking, review, re-review, thought streams, commentaries, whatever the case may be, feel free. PayPal is the best way to do it. Do have a Cash app as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. So thank you for that. So Enrico wanted me to look at 3 episodes of Married with Children. Now, I believe I did review some of the older ones a while ago. I think it's been years now. And I remember liking it. And the same with these episodes. I'll say right off the bat, I do like them. And I knew of the show growing up. I did not get to see the show back in the day. I mean, it was from 1987 to 1997 on Fox. We didn't have the Fox network. Now, I did see Simpsons and X-Files because my aunt would send us videotapes. But she was not going to be watching something like Married with Children and send us tapes of it. You know, when we were still a kid. And I heard of the show, though, throughout pop culture. It was referenced on The Simpsons. It was referenced on various other pieces of media. And it was definitely a show of its time that I do think holds up in terms of, if you look at the stuff that seemed maybe a bit more taboo, with making fun of someone's size of their junk or something like that, or calling someone pretty much a slut, but maybe doing it in a different or more witty or more funny way. That just said, ooh, like taboo, like sitcoms didn't do that kind of thing. Nowadays, it'd be considered typical. So I do think this show was a bit ahead of its time on that front. And I think it's still, people like this show to this day. I still think it has a fond remembrance. I know at one point there was going to be some cartoon. I don't know whatever happened with that. I mean, I don't think it's needed. Just let it go, leave it in the past. But you have Ed O'Neill, who I always liked him as an actor. He does good as Al Bundy, the dad. I always remember him from The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Booty time, across the USA, booty time. He was also in, I can't believe I forgot that damn name, Dutch, which I know was a flop, but he did a good job in that film, Dutch. And he appeared from time to time in movies here and there and TV shows. Katie Siegel plays the wife. She will later be a voice on Futurama and among other shows. Christina Applegate was the daughter, who's dim-witted and not that bright, not that smart. Sadly, I know she's going through MS, so that's very sad to hear. And then you have the son, played by David Faustino. He's horny. Typical teen, that type of thing. Now, it was very successful for Fox. Came out in 1987. They were on till 1997, so I think technically it is 11 seasons. They got to. Which Fox, at that time, it was very rare for a Fox TV show to last long. Like, okay, The Simpsons, The X-Files, Married with Children, like, those are the exceptions. Because Fox had the tendency that after a year or two, boom, you're done. Whether it be your Firefly or Grave to the Bunny or your various other shows that only had a short lifespan. It felt even more so at Fox. Because they either, the head above, would rework the show, change the show, get their hands in it, or barely promote it, or it wasn't ABC or CBS or NBC, so to some it's like, does it exist? And Fox was kind of, at times, felt like it was looked down upon as a network. Oh, that's the more trashy network. That's the more network that's trying to be more hip or more edgy. But, I mean, I like watching, I would like to have watched Fox. I probably would have watched that channel a lot when I was a kid if we had it. I would have watched a hell lot more than CBS, and especially PBS. But I mean, it is what it is. But I would love to watch X-Files when it debuted and stuff. But it is how it is. But thanks my aunt, I did see some of them on taped VHS. But this one I did saw clips, but I didn't see full episodes until many, many, many years later. And it's enjoyable. I mean, it's hard to complain for me on sitcoms when they're only 20 some minutes long. So even if it's a bad one, it's like, well, it's only 20 minutes long, so it's not a big deal. But I think the camaraderie between the four, how they seem to not really like each other, but like they have natural back and forth, and just how they like pick on each other and mess with each other brings some pretty funny dialogue. And in these 3 episodes, it seems like specifically Enrico picked them because they heavily featured Christina Applegate. So I'm guessing that was the intention. That features her as the character Kelly. Maybe because he's a big fan of hers, which I don't mind Christina Applegate. I liked her as an actress. Maybe because of, again, the dealings with MS, which, again, is very sad to hear. But the 3 episodes are Fair Exchange, which is from Season 4, Episode 6. Al with Kelly, which is from Season 5, Episode 2. And Kelly Bounces Back from Season 5, Episode 6. And all 3 were fun. All 3 were fun to watch. All 3 went at a good pace. All 3 had their share of funny moments. And a couple of them had some recognizable people. Like, for example, Season 4 episodes, I'll just say the title, Fair Exchange. The gist of the plot is the Bundys need money. They find that there is some kind of, I don't want to call it promo, but some deal with if you get a foreign exchange student, you get $500 a month. So they did a foreign exchange student, but they put her in the garage. But then she gets more popular at school than Christina Applegate's character, Kelly. So Kelly doesn't like that, and Kelly has to find a way to get her out so she can become popular again. The foreign exchange student is Mila Jovovich. I didn't know she was on. She made an appearance on the show. But yeah, Mila Jovovich, Lilu from The Fifth Element, Alice from the Resident Evil movies. She's in this. I don't know how old she was. I mean, the character's supposed to be in high school, but I don't know how old she was. I mean, it's definitely before The Fifth Element and stuff. This might have been after Cuffs with Tricia Slater. Or at least around the same time. But I mean, in this episode, there were some fun bits, like the fact that apparently they're so low on money, they have pizza, and they eat the cheese one day, and they save the crust for another day. It's just something about that image showing this pizza with no cheese on it. Just made me laugh. Ed O'Neill, he's very effortless in playing Al Bundy. Like when the student comes by, the wife goes, "Why don't you go help her out?" "Okay." "Hey, we're over here." Then just closes the door and walks back to the couch. Like I said, Miljovich gets there. She's a French foreign exchange student. And when they get to school, Kelly's trying to get her out of her shell. But when she reveals herself, people flock towards her. Kelly don't like that. Oh, Amanda Beers, who was in the original Fright Night, she has a supporting role throughout the show. I don't know how long she was on the show. But there's this funny bit where, because of the $500 they get, they're eating so well. And then when they gotta go talk to the neighbor, Cedal just steals the food and takes it with her. And just sits down with like this leg of turkey or whatever, just eating right in front to talk to the neighbors. I thought that was a funny sight gag. David Faustino, I thought he played his character well enough. Like when Kelly's trying to find a way to get rid of this foreign exchange student, he very seriously goes, "If you truly want to get rid of her, I'll kill you." Because of course he has the odds for her. Eventually, Mila is failing in school. Kelly pretends to help, and she goes, "Well, when we do the test, copy off of me." So lo and behold, because of doing that, she fails all the tests, goes back, and they're back to eating just the crust off a pizza. Like I said, they definitely try to go. They push as much as they can with the dialogue, the language. Like Al Bundy saying, "The French, such a foul country, but they know how to write a check." And in just sort of that trashy, I don't want to call maybe blue collar. Although I'm gonna say, with these folks, maybe it's insult the blue collars, but it has that fun vibe to it. The characters make it work with their personalities. Same with Al with Kelly, season 5, episode 2, which is cool to see a bit more of Ed O'Neill and Christina Applegate working together, where they fake being sick, so they don't have to see Katie Siegel's mom. Dave Faustino calls him out on it, but then goes, "Why didn't you let me in on it? Like, why didn't you tell me about this?" So he's forced to go with his mom. And again, just the way Ed O'Neill plays the character, the way he has that kind of, not swagger, but kind of that movement where his head's always like hanging over here, over here. And lines like when the wife goes, "You don't miss me?" And he's like, "I can't until you leave." Or about how Al and Kelly haven't really spent much time together. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, we spent time. When you were born, I carried you out. And then the one time we got you ice cream. This one time I heard a voice. I'm like, what's that?" So I get out, let your mother in, and there we go. I let your mom in the car, and then we go. Christina Applegate, I thought she did a good job playing deadpan of this character who's a complete idiot. Like, for example, as she does get sick, and she won't use the phone. And then Al's like, "Well, why won't you use the phone?" "Dad, if I use the phone, then I'm talking to my own germs." Because I'll cough in it, and I'm talking to my own germs. And then she makes him go get some bread, but it's a rainstorm. He comes back. She ordered pizza, so she changed her mind. And then the guy wants a tip, and then Ed O'Neill's like, "Yeah, I'll give you a tip." Picks the guy up, bashes his head, and throws him out the damn door. And actually, yeah, all three of these feature a cameo from a familiar person. The previous one I mentioned had Mila Jovovich. This one, Ed O'Neill keeps daydreaming about either this one blonde woman or this other blonde woman, or again, or eventually both of them in the same dream. But it keeps getting cut off because Kelly keeps either complaining or ringing his bell and ruining the illusion. Well, one of the women is Pamela Anderson, of course, who was in Baywatch and Barbed Wire and all this other stuff. So him being so excited and giddy and then ruin the illusion, just how mad and pissed he gets, that was pretty funny. "Dad, I need something. I can't sleep." And he's like, "How about you count something like the seconds you have to live?" It's because of the chemistry between, I think, Ed and Christina worked very well as these two misfortunates, so to speak, and eventually Al gets sick. Then he kind of passes out sleeping while sick, and he starts to have a dream again, but only in this dream it's a fatter woman with an enema ready to go. And then you hear him, I can't get out, I can't wake up. Help, help, I can't wake up." And like I said, other sitcoms at that time, they're not going to mention like enemas. They're not going to mention this other stuff. They're not, they're not going to have. I mean, it's one thing to fight Sanford and Son, making fun of his son and stuff. This goes a little bit further, but at the same time, I never felt, at least with these three episodes, mean spirited. At least for me, I never felt it was too mean spirited. I felt like everyone kind of was in the same ballpark with these four family members. Like even the next episode, Tilly bounces back. There's a subplot where Ed O'Neill's like, "Oh, I don't need you. I work. You pay the bills, and I'll do stuff on my own." And then the wife's like, "Okay," but they can't find the remote control. And he doesn't want to keep getting up and back and up and back and changing the channel. So, "Oh, Patty, please, where's the remote?" But she wants him to admit how she needs him or how he needs her. But then eventually wants some hanky panky. And he's like, "No, please, it's lights out. We'll be able to see each other. You know we hate that." And just his acting of being scared, desperate not to have sex with his wife. "Please, no, I don't want to do it. It's light out. We'll see each other. It can't." Like Ed plays it perfectly. He was the right guy for that role. I don't think anybody else could have played that role in that fashion and be that successful. Now the main plot is Kelly, one release another. The dad says you need to go find a job, so she wants to be a model, but instead Ed O'Neill has to pay $400 for his modeling agency, and so she gets a part to model for this upcoming car, to audition for it. And she finds a way to showcase the car with this little like bounce and this little act that she can do. While there, David Faustino talks too much and tells one of the girls what Kelly's going to do. So she steals Kelly's move. And the girl that steals the move is Tia Carrera. Yes, from Wayne's World, True Lies. I think she did some adventure show that was like Tomb Raider. I never saw that. I actually would like to see that sometime. Because I do quite like Tia Carrera, and I would like to see how she does in a adventure. What was that show? I swear, I do want to check that out one day. Yeah, I'm not expecting Tomb Raider, but I mean, I just want to know what it's called. Relic Hunter, which lasted. Didn't it last like 3 seasons? Yeah, it lasted 3 seasons, so I would actually like to give that show a look sometime, Relic Hunter. And sorry, now I'm just thinking, sorry about that, off tangent. But yeah, Relic Hunter. Just like, wow, that sounds like Tomb Raider. Again, I'm not expecting crazy action, but okay. But one day I'd like to give that a look. Because I always liked Tia Carrera. So it was like surprise, like, oh shit, she's in this. And I thought she did a good job. Pretty much by the end, Kelly's going to fix everything, so she goes over, she beats up Tia Carrera, and then which I thought at first was a dream scene. I thought she was imagining beating up Tia Carrera, but then you find out, no, eventually she actually did, and she gets the job to model for this car. And then she goes up to her brother, it's like, I know, I was successful. I also found out, you see, who told her? You see this hand? What? And then she punches him in the gut with the other hand. So, nice little triumphant moment for Kelly. She's able to get the part she wanted, and she's able to punch the brother that fucked her over accidentally, but still did. So, but again, this is 3 episodes that were a nice showcase for Christina Applegate. She's been in some movies. The only one I could think of that pops in my head is "Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead," which I'm not actually a fan of that movie because I think the first third of the movie is okay, where it's this awful babysitter and how these kids deal with this awful babysitter, and then her eventual death, and what do we do? How do we hide the body? Oh, we gotta take responsibility in terms of you gotta do the dishes, you gotta clean the house, we got to help each other out. I gotta go find a job so that we have money. All that stuff. The second half becomes, hey, she designs clothes, and how the clothing business is a cutthroat business, and it's like, it feels like 2 different films. The second half felt like a take on Working Girl, if people remember that movie. It just, I wasn't really into the second half of that film. But it was because Christina Applegate, she did a good job. So again, I do like her as an actress, and I thought she was featured well in these 3 episodes. And yeah, it was a nice showcase for her. So I did like it overall. These were fun. These were fun to watch. They were easy to watch. They were fun. They went by fast. Did definitely some chuckles, some laughs throughout it. Some surprise cameos. Granted, at the time, you wouldn't consider cameos because Mila Jovovich, no one knew who she was at then. But that's what is sometimes cool to rewatch these older shows just to see, oh, that person popped up because it was before they were famous or before people really knew who they were. Or, like, wasn't George Clooney on, like, Roseanne or something before he really got famous? I swear it was something like that. I can't remember. And again, you'd be surprised, like, who would pop up in some of these older shows and it's like, oh, wow, okay. Because it was before people really knew who they were or before they got famous or something else. So overall, this was fun. This was fun to do. This is fun to rewatch. To watch these. Not even rewatch this. These, I don't think I've seen these 3 before, so thank you for that, Enrico. I do appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.